Diane, I'm going to ask you this. Can you set the scene for us? So telling someone who knows nothing about this show, what's going on? Where is it taking place? What can viewers expect?
Well, it takes place in the future, not very far in the future. Maybe I'm going to get this wrong, but I would venture a guess to say about 15 years from now would be the first entry point in the story. And it winds up covering a few decades of time. And we're in this world, not in a world, we're in our own world, but these are extrapolations on the concerns that we are all feeling now, knowing what we know about global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it, and the impacts of us on our world. And knowing what we know and doing the best we can, where does that leave us in 15 years from now? And that's what the entry point of the story is. We're doing our best, but probably wishing we had done more sooner. Okay, so let's start there. What's the world like? What are people trying to do? What's the micro and the macro of human day-to-day life experience, but also with this common sense of struggle to save the best of what remains of our world and the value systems and the technology that exists and that's exponentially getting more and more amazing with AI and all kinds of things. That's kind of where I go into.
That was great. That was great. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great overview. And Michael, what was it like to be in a show that takes place in the future, but it's different because it is our world. It's not some other worldly planet. It's stepping into decades ahead of our own reality now. What was that like?
Totally. Well, it's really exciting and in some ways really complicated. I remember specifically wardrobe being such a fascinating thing because you have to find something that, okay, where could fashion go, right? You're kind of predicting the future, and not just fashion, but where is technology going? Where is sort of
fabrication?
Yeah, mass production, what's sort of reusable, what's not around anymore, what sort of resources did we run out of because we overused. So there was sort of, and I think that specific example related to everything, what sort of trying to predict the future in a way that it's not fabricated. This is our world. So what is realistic, right? Like what could the future really look like? Like we might have, planes that fly themselves, but we might not have teleportation devices in 5 years. So it's staying grounded in where technology is going, but also really sort of assessing, okay, what is plausible in the future. So it's really exciting and complicated because you have to really know what AI is being invested in, what technology is being invested in, and where sort of things look like they're going to go.
Following the trends.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like it's so interesting because there was so much research that went into the show. So you watch it and you're like, well, this can't be real. But then you're like, wait, like maybe it will be. There's so many questions there. Like, is this where we're headed? And the technology is so cool in the show, like you just said. What was it like to kind of experience that, knowing there's research behind it? Like, oh, this may be what the future holds. Diane or whoever.
Well, I think we both interacted with tech in this show that was well beyond anything that us current living actors have experienced. So it was a leap into science without the fiction, in a sense, because these things are very much being developed and invested in. And so it took away the fantasy element, and at the same time it presupposes that we're comfortable with this. Especially, I'm an employee of a very massive corporation that is essentially monopolizing a lot of the technology and things that people are really quite dependent on, to put it small. People have become very dependent on technology, more and more so, which is almost alarming. And we get to see that. We also get to see different parts of the world and different cultures where people are tech dependent as well, but maybe they don't have the cutting edge stuff. People are figuring it out the best they can. Maybe there's a canoe that somebody, I'm kidding, but I got to keep my sense of humor. As a mortal. I need my humor. So.
You should keep your humor even decades ahead. And the theme of the show is human connection at the core, right? So how do you think it's going to resonate with viewers? Michael, you can take this one.
I think that Scott's such an amazing writer, and obviously there are such talented actors and directors that have been a part and are a part of this show, that I think that every scene was always thought, okay, is the science accurate? Has it been well researched? And then when you get on set, what are the human connections? Where's the room for humor and love and happiness and fear and worry? And every sort of moment of the show has a human connection into it, relationships between fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, love affairs, partners across the board, friends, colleagues. And while it tackles sort of things that can feel so large, it's grounded also in a very human to human, scenes and sort of stories. And because that's how we relate, and I think that's one of the things this show does so incredibly well, is it tackles things that can be so overwhelming and scary sometimes, but there is hope to it, there is humor to it, and there's humanity in it. And that really is where we can sink our teeth and grasp, is a global experience where, this is one of the only obstacles that we all have to handle as a whole globe, and I think that the show really embraces that a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely a show like no other. I feel like no show has really tackled this in this way, at least. So I'm really excited for everyone to get to watch it. And you mentioned the cast just being so amazing. I mean, talk about star-studded. What was it like being a part of a cast that just has so many stars?
I was a little starstruck, honestly. I'm friends with some people in this show. I am fans of some people in this show. We would make jokes about, WWMD. What would Meryl do? Let's do that. Because she's just the bomb. I remember when she was out there giving it to Congress about getting ALAR off of the apples for our children, that it was unsafe. And I thought, check her out. She's walking the talk as a concerned mother about pesticides and getting in food for the children. It's not cool. So I'm just saying, everybody's here because they have heart and investment in genuine concern for not only our species, but for biodiversity and how we conduct ourselves. So as actors, it's nice to play these parts. And we're also fans of each other and the material. So it doesn't happen every day. It's nice to celebrate it with you, talking about it.
Definitely. And I mean, what's cooler than being in a show with Meryl Streep? I mean, come on.
Or Diane, right?
Or Diane.
I mean, I'm sitting next to one of the most incredible actors.
We didn't get to have scenes together, but we're going to write some. Right?
Yes, we're gonna slip them in. Yeah. Call up Scott. Yeah, absolutely.
Caboose for the train. We'd like to.
Yeah, a little teaser at the end.
Just have a few bonus little clips so people can get the extended version,
Like the reel.
Exactly. They're just bloopers. Yeah.